Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Silver Savage podcast. Those of you watching notice that I have no facial hair, which is throwing some people off. Funnily enough, when you watch the post-intro portion, I do have my facial hair there. So I just shaved the other day, and I recorded this podcast while I was in Alabama, so my intro is coming after the fact. Don't worry, I know my beard is part of my, my trademark or my image, whatever you want to call it, right? There's two things I'm known for, and that is my beard and silkies. And if you want to throw a maker's mark in there as well, that's about it. Everything else is fluff. So anyways, this clean shaven face is probably not going to last long, but I am enjoying it while it's here. All that aside, I promised you a few weeks back that I'm going to bring back guests, and that is exactly what I've done. So this week, actually, I was in Alabama doing my police duties with the sheriff office, the Cobb County Sheriff Office, who I sworn through now, and I go and I train their people, and I try to get as much hands-on experience while I'm there, just to, it allows me to make sure that what I'm teaching is still relevant, adjust curriculums as needed, right? It scratches my itch to a certain extent, and ultimately, it keeps me in that fraternity, right? So I do enjoy that, and I'm really honored and humbled to be part of the Cobb County Sheriff Office. But for the past few years, while I was going to Northern Alabama, I've been hanging out and became really close friend with Keith Smith, and who agreed to be interviewed for this podcast episode. Now, Keith just retired from the Sheriff Office, but Keith is a great guy and a very close friend. But really, the reason I wanted to have him on the show, aside for the fact that we became really close friends, and his family is like a second family to us, to me and Tyler and the kids. It's a fact that when we talk about Silver Savages, Keith truly does embody a lot, if not all, of what we talk about, right? So he's certainly a warrior, spending a good amount of time, I think 20-some years. He talks about it in the episode. I can't remember the exact number though, so I apologize. But spent a good amount of years as a sheriff deputy doing anything from patrol through SWAT. So certainly has a lot of experience there. He's an entrepreneur. He's a business owner. Just recently took over a family business, but has been working in the industry for a while. And actually in this episode, we get a little bit into some tricks and some pointers that he has for us if you ever have issues with your vehicle. He's a family man, right? He has two wonderful kids. But not only that, the whole family is very tight-knit, right? They all share a big plot of land. His brother lives close by with his wonderful family, and his parents are close by. So he's a family man, and that is super important to him. And his political views, as far as being a protector, as far as being obviously pro-Second Amendment, but also just the way things are working economically and geopolitically and so forth, right? He's very much a person that I admire, like talking to, and I appreciate his insight. So in this episode, we go a little bit into his background. We shoot the shit a little bit like we always do. And hopefully you guys get some good information out of it. So let's get into the episode.
Cheers.
So we're actually in Keith's, is it your cabin or is it your parents' cabin?
It's my parents' cabin.
It's a beautiful cabin, and when I come to Alabama, or I've been coming to Alabama for the past year or so, this is home away from home. It's a great opportunity to have Keith here. So Keith is not only a former SWAT guy and a warrior, he's also a business owner and family man. So an opportunity to sit with someone that, you're like them, I guess the southern version of me. Like the country version. The country version of BK, but no. So for people that are listening to the podcast, give us a quick rundown of where you grew up, what you do, what you did, stuff like that.
Okay.
But you gotta speak slow. I know in Alabama they speak slow.
Yes.
But you gotta enunciate.
Okay. Born and raised here in Alabama. Went to school here. Went to school at a local community college. After that, went on to Tennessee when I started working at the Tennessee Aquarium.
Right, so you have a biology degree, right?
I have like 6 years of college, but I never actually finished my degree. I know that's idiotic, but I never did. But
So, you know, when I say you're the southern version of me, I went to college for 7 years. I did get a degree at the end, but 7 years, because I keep changing my major for like 5 times.
I started out in business and went to pre-law,
Yep.
and then just was like, I'm going to go to biology because got into scuba diving, and I loved it, and I love animals and fish, and I just thought I'm just going to be a biologist. So that's what I did.
And you work with snakes, right?
Yes.
With venomous snakes?
Yes, we had a venom exhibit. They let me in there, and I got to play with black mambas, all kinds of spiders, bullet ants, the little beautifully colored frogs. They were bullet frogs.
The dart frogs?
Dart frogs.
Yeah.
And they would eat the bullet ants, and that's how they would derive their poison from the bullet ants. But in there, we didn't feed them bullet ants. We just fed them other stuff, so they weren't poisonous, so you could actually handle them.
So I'm asking for a friend. If I wanted to kill somebody, but it not being discovered, which venom do I use?
Well, there's no dart frogs around here, so that might be a little strange.
I think I know we can source one, though.
We could probably source one somewhere. Yes.
All right,
We have a lot of acres to bury bodies. I'm just saying.
There you go. So you worked at the zoo in
It's Tennessee Aquarium.
Tennessee Aquarium.
Yes.
All right.
Chattanooga, Tennessee.
How long were you there?
About 5 years.
It's a long time.
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
When did you meet your wife?
When I met my wife.
When did you meet your wife? This is what happens when you have two people with funny accents trying to communicate.
Exactly. He speaks funny. I don't.
Right.
I met my wife when I was 17 in high school.
Did she go to Tennessee with you?
No, she did not. I was a senior and she was in the 10th grade. We started dating, and we jumped into a marriage. We only dated for 9 years before we got married.
Oh.
Yeah.
Way to rush into it.
Yeah, we rushed right into it. So we legit dated for 9 years before we got married, and then we've been married 24 right now.
Oh, wow. That's longer than my 4 marriages combined.
Nice.
Yep. All right. Life goals.
Life goals.
All right. So you were in Tennessee for 5 years, and what did you do after?
Came back here, started. I always worked with my father and his business in the collision industry. I'd done that the whole time I was in college. The whole time I was up there, I was back and forth. I always stayed working in the collision industry. One thing, I love it. It was good money, and I do love what I do. So I stayed in that, and then I came back and really just put all my effort into the collision industry. And as he got older, he started phasing out, and I started kind of phasing in. So.
And as of last month, you took over the business, right?
Officially, January the 1st. Everything changed over to me as the owner, but for the last 10 years, I've managed it for the last 10 years, 100%. He did a little work in there, but he's 78 now, and he just goofed off and come in and take a bunch of money and leave. And
gotta love it. Yeah. So we're gonna get into that a little more in a second, and I want to hear about your policing and how you got into that. Well, okay. Your whole family was, but kind of backtracking for a second, talking about your dad.
Yes.
Because your dad is a character.
Yes.
And your dad is a warrior on his own right.
He was.
Right. He was a Navy guy and then a police officer. And...
He was in the Navy. If anybody knows what the Brownwater Navy is, he served in the Brownwater Navy in Vietnam, operated swift boats.
Oh, wow.
And operated a Twin 50 on the front of it.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah.
And he came back and he joined law enforcement. There's a book written about a case that he worked.
Yes. You put me on the spot. I can't remember the name of the book, but it was a case he worked where a guy had escaped in an insane asylum and grabbed his girlfriend, and he killed her. He attacked 2 people up in Mentone, Alabama, cut their dogs' heads off. He cut her head off, her arms off, and her legs off.
Well, how else do you feed her in the trunk?
Right. And my dad is the one who made the traffic stop on that guy with, just a stump in the passenger seat, buckled up.
Oh, well,
yeah.
Safety
Blood
first.
Highway. Blood Highway is the name of the book.
Yeah, well, safety first.
Safety first, yes.
So he was he a full-time police officer or
He
part-time?
never was full-time, no. He worked part-time, DeKalb County Sheriff's Office.
And he had his collision shop.
Collision shop, yes.
Okay, perfect. So, okay, back to you. So you were at the zoo, the aquarium in Chattanooga, right? Chattanooga? Yep. Back and forth, you came here, worked at the shop full time. You took over it. When did you join the sheriff office?
So my twin brother, pretty much from the time we were 12 plus, he's like, I'm going to be a police officer. That's all he ever wanted to do. So when he graduated high school and went straight to working as a dispatcher for a local agency, and then went on to Tennessee and made a heck of a career there. So
how far are we from Tennessee?
From the Tennessee line, 40 minutes.
Okay, because you keep talking about like it's just up the road, and I guess it is
45,
just up the road.
50 minutes. Yeah.
Okay, all right, sorry.
So I always made fun of cops. I did. I was like, they're stupid.
Yeah, there's a reason they're cops.
Why in the hell would they do this?
Right.
Idiots. I mean, I did. I made fun of them.
Okay, I believe you.
And then I had a friend of mine. He dared me to ride with him one night. I was like 20. Me and Lisa were just married. I was like 27. He dared me to ride with him one night, just as a reserve. And I was like, fine, whatever, I'll ride with you. We got in a car chase. That was bad. We got in a foot pursuit. Had to run a guy down and tackle him. And then we answered a domestic violence call. Had to fight a guy. And I was like, I'm in.
I'm hooked.
I'm hooked.
Yeah, there's something about the adrenaline rush. Man.
It
It's
is.
hard to fight it. You don't get that at an auto body shop.
No. I've always been an adrenaline junkie. I mean, we used to go rock climbing, caving, scuba diving, cave diving. I mean, we did all kinds of crazy, just insane stuff as teenagers.
So you joined the sheriff office as a reservist?
I went to the police academy for Sylvania Police. No, I'm sorry. Let me back up. I went to the academy. My academy was 14 months, but it was every other weekend.
Okay.
So, that was for people who could keep a full-time job and still go to the police academy. So I went every other month. When I graduated, I went to work in 2003, I graduated, went to work for Sylvania Police Department from 03 to 06.
How big of a department is that?
Sylvania?
Yeah.
Had like 3 officers.
You were officer number 4?
Yeah.
That was like when I was with Chatham. I was officer number 6.
Right. Like we didn't have 24-hour patrol.
Yeah. Imagine you wouldn't.
Yeah. So there was like 3 or 4 of us. Actually, Eric Tidmore.
Mm-hmm.
You remember Eric?
Yep.
Me and him started out. I got out of the academy and I was a certified officer, and Eric was reserving with me.
Nice.
Like we were just 2 kids who didn't know anything.
But you had a car and a gun, so that's.
We had a car and a gun, and we were. Oh, this is a hilarious story. Me and Eric one night, we were riding around, just cruising around. It was super cold, and I remember this woman pulled up beside us like this, and she rolled her window down, and she was like, "How's it going, boys?" We're like, "Fine, ma'am. How are you?" And it was super cold. We had toboggans and beanies, and we were all bundled up. And she was like, "Boys," and she was in her 80s. She's like, "You've had your fun. Go home."
Oh, well, that was nice of her to
And I was
check
like,
you guys out.
I was like, what are you saying, ma'am? She's like, "You boys ain't old enough to be police officers. Take your daddy's patrol car home and go home."
That's awesome.
She did. And we were just like, "Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. We will. So
That's funny.
It was hilarious.
Awesome. So you just retired from the Cobb. When did you move to the Cobb County Sheriff Office?
And 2006.
Okay. And you were there
From 06 to 24.
Till last month.
Yeah.
So how did it feel to retire?
I do miss the people. I miss the excitement. I was on the SRT team. That was fun. Kicking doors, flashbangs. You know how it is. You done it. I miss the people. I had the greatest agency ever in the world to work for. Everybody was amazing. I miss the people. I miss the excitement. I miss all that. But it was just time for me to be a full-time father, a full-time daddy, and full-time business owner.
Perfect. And I'm asking that on purpose because I think it's a perfect segue when we talk about Silver Savages. When we talk about a war changes, right, with time. Like I think we all look for that adrenaline at the beginning. For me, it was military. For you, it was policing, right? But then as we get older, I mean, we're about the same age, right?
I'm 50.
So you're older. Just by a couple
Better
years.
looking, but anyway.
Yeah, well, it's hard to compete. But just by a couple of years. But what I'm saying is that, at some point, our war changes, right? And the battlefront is no longer kicking doors and flashbangs and whatever it is. putting food on the table, taking care of the kids, but still a warrior, right? And a lot of people don't get that or don't do that.
My life goal was to be a Navy SEAL. I mean, like, that's all a Navy SEAL or a Navy pilot. And I remember being a kid going to Rainsville Library to check out books on, there was 4 books in existence, and they weren't even called SEALs, they were frogmen.
It is Alabama. There's 4 books in the library, period. Sorry, I had to.
Cheap stab, I get it. You are in Alabama, so there was 4 books on frogmen, UDT, I think.
UDT, yep.
Yeah.
Underwater demolition teams.
Yes, and I remember I would check the book out and read it, and then I'd take the other one back, and they'd have to order the other book. There was 4 books in existence on Navy SEALs, frogmen, and that's what I wanted to do my entire life. And then when I was 15, my brother decided to take that from me when he shot me in the eye with a bottle rocket.
All right.
Yeah,
I
so
forget you're blind in the
I'm
eye.
completely blind in this eye.
I think you also need all 10 toes in order to be a SEAL.
Well, I have 9.5.
9.5.
Nine
Close
and-
enough.
Close enough.
We can round out.
I can run it out. Round up.
Round up. That's funny. So, wait a second. Tell us that story. How'd you lose that eye? Well, it didn't lose an eye. I mean, it's still there.
It's still there.
It just doesn't work.
It's mine. I just can't see out of it.
It does move with the other one.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's completely mine.
Can I flick you in it? Will you feel it?
I would feel it, yes.
Okay, just making sure.
If you get really close, you can see the pupils distorted.
Yeah, well, that's the drugs.
That's what?
The drugs.
Well, that didn't happen until I retired.
Okay.
No, I'm kidding. That story, me and my 3 brothers, we were, and cousins, we're having a bottle rocket war, because that's what idiots do in the South.
What's a bottle rocket?
You don't know what a bottle rocket is.
I'm an Israeli trying to fit in Alabama. I have no idea what a bottle rocket is.
So you know what a firecracker is?
I do know what a firecracker is.
So imagine a firecracker on a stick about that long, and it has a propellant, and you light it, and it goes, it
Right.
shoots off, and it goes 30, 40, 50 feet up in the sky and explodes. That's basically it. So we were having bottle rocket wars where we'd take 20 bottle rockets and we'd cram into a PVC pipe.
Oh, the actual firecracker, it's called a rocket?
It's a bottle rocket.
That's what it's called?
Yeah.
Got it, okay.
You stick it in a bottle and you light it if you're safe, and it goes, boom, boom, blows up, everything's good. But idiot teenager Alabama kids, and everybody who's from Alabama and South, you've had a bottle rocket war, don't lie. You've had BB gun wars, don't lie.
Fair.
Your mom might be listening, but don't lie. So we'd take a bottle rocket and we'd cram 20 in a PVC pipe and light it with a torch and just charge each other.
Oh, nice.
Yes. So my mom caught us. Come outside, slapped her.
You're going to shoot your eye out.
You're going to shoot your eye out. Slapped the shiitake out of all of us and took all our bottle rockets away. I was 15 when that happened. And my brother just happened to have one left. And he's like, hey, Keith, come here. And he lit one. And I walked around the corner of the building. And he shot it. Bam, right in the eye.
Did you feel bad?
Did he feel bad?
Yeah.
I remember he said, don't tell Mom.
Well, fair. Did it hurt?
It did. Yeah, it did hurt.
You're like, what's the congressman, the Navy SEAL that lost an eye? Kershaw?
Yes.
You're just like him.
I did-
You're a Navy SEAL after all.
Dude, I did have an eye patch. I did. When I was from like 15 to 16, I had an eye patch, and I thought it was the coolest thing ever.
Yeah.
Like, I was going to school with a black
Like,
eye
what
patch.
kid doesn't want to be a pirate?
I thought it was the coolest thing ever.
Awesome. So now you not only, retired SWAT guy, you're a family man, you have a wonderful family, your wife, your 2 kids, right? You run a business, but you're also kind of taking charge in the all, automotive world in a sense by coaching others and taking that route as well, right?
Yes. So from your podcast the other day about everybody needs coaches, I have a coach. I actually have, I have one dedicated coach that is my coach, Richard, but I have Joel, I have Jackie, I have Jamie, I have all these coaches that I can call and utilize because, one coach is retired from the insurance industry, so he knows all the insurance lingo. One of them is a financial guru. She's a genius when it comes to finances. The other one is, worked in a collision center his whole life. And the other one, again, come out of a collision center. And he knows the OEM procedures to repair. So you basically have 4 coaches at my disposal, but I have one dedicated coach, and we meet every week. And financially, it's been the best thing I've ever did.
That's awesome. But aside from you having coaches, you now starting to coach others, right? You started to present in the industry.
I'm starting doing some presentations.
And you and I had this discussion a couple months ago, or I think last time I was here, and that's before I started coaching. And you, like, I was toying with the idea, but I think I mentioned something to you, and you said that one of your goals is to coach others.
Yes, absolutely. Yes, yeah. I want to be a coach. I want to take people who, I don't know if everybody knows, the insurance industry is difficult. It's difficult to deal with. I know they're a business and they're trying to make money, but they're not your friends.
Oh, no.
They're not.
The only reason I have 4 LLCs, 4 companies, is because of insurance. Because the one that will insure one will not insure the other. And every time I need to open an LLC, and the pricing is ridiculous. And then there's all these exceptions, right? Listen, we're going to insure your self-defense school, but not if you do A, B through Z. And I'm like, well, that is all I do.
Right.
So it's a challenge.
It is a challenge. And like, you having a car accident and you pay X amount a month. All you want is your car fixed. That's all you want.
Right.
Man, fix my car. That's all you want. But you take it to a collision or industry shop and they don't know the verbiage. They don't know the OEM procedures. They don't know all these things. And they not really willing to fight for you as the customer, then you're going to get subpar repairs on your vehicle. And, I put my wife and kids in my car.
Right.
You put your wife and your children in your car. You want it repaired the way it's supposed to be. And that's where like coaching comes in, where I will fight the insurance company. And, I've had adjusters call me a dirty son of a bitch before. I don't know if we can cuss on here.
You can cuss. It's not.
Okay, fantastic.
Fucking shit. I just wanted to make you feel comfortable.
Okay.
Go for it.
Okay. But the coaching allows me to have the knowledge and the accountability. So when the insurance company says, we don't pay for that, I'm like, yes, you do. And here's why. And before I started with the coaching company, like I'd get an email, and I can't tell you how many times that I wanted to just ram my fist through the computer from reading an email. I wrote a $10,000 estimate, and we're going to pay you $3,000.
Yep.
And now that I have the tools to combat that, when I write an estimate on a repair and it's $10,000, I wrote one today that was $12,000. They sent me a return. They said, we're only going to pay $7,000, and I just laughed. I was like, all right.
Here we go.
Here we go.
Nice.
I stretch my arm, and I start pulling out procedures and this and OEM documentation, and I just start hammering them with, this is how we're going to do it, this is why you're going to do it, and you might as well just pay the bill. End of story. Perfect.
So next time your car breaks down, just make sure you bring it to Sylvania, Alabama, because if you want to get your full insurance money.
Yes.
So I know we're deviating a little bit, but I'm just intrigued. How common is this practice elsewhere? Like, can I find in Maryland, and I know you come to Maryland because that's where
my coaching facility is based, right. Yes.
Can I find, I guess, a body shop, in Maryland that would do the same for me? Is that a common practice? Because I feel like even body shops and mechanics, and not to put down any, I actually do like a lot of my mechanics right now, but I feel like it's business, and my needs are like secondary, if not tertiary.
Your needs are secondary, yes. So are you familiar with the term DRP?
No.
Direct Repair Program.
No.
So you have XYZ insurance on your vehicle, you have a car accident, your insurance company says, hey, we have a local DRP that is BK's Auto Body in Baltimore, Maryland, take it there and we'll guarantee it. So you're like, oh, fantastic, got a guarantee. I take it to BK's Auto Collision, and BK's Auto Collision is now a DRP with this insurance company, so they have contracts and they have to follow their guidelines.
Right.
And their guidelines are aftermarket parts, used parts, not following OEM repair procedures, not following. Okay.
So you think you're getting the best service, but in reality, you're getting whatever the insurance company.
You're getting whatever the insurance company takes.
So how do you go about finding someone like you in your neck of the woods? Like, we have listeners from all over the country. All 17 of you. But you're in all over the country.
All over everywhere.
Right. Is
Market research.
Okay. There isn't like a database or like a Facebook group or something that I can...
Not really, no. I mean...
Just got to do your homework?
If your insurance company recommends you to go to a
Do
particular...
I have to go where they recommend?
You do not.
Okay.
You do not. That is against the law. That is steering. They cannot steer you. They can recommend you to this facility.
Right.
They cannot make you go to this facility. But they'll make it so hard on you that you just want to take it there just to be done with it.
Yeah, but I feel like the upside would be going somewhere else that would fight for you. Like if I go to that place and say subpar service and parts, and then I may not even get the full value. But if I take someone, it may cost me a little bit more in time and whatnot. But if someone like you would fight for me, then it's worth it.
It is worth it because I'm okay. So any car from about 2019 up, take a guess of how many miles of wire are in that car.
I don't know, a lot. That's when I have an electromagnetic pulse.
22
miles.
22 miles
That's a lot
of
of
wire
miles.
in a vehicle from about 2020 up. On that vehicle, especially if you get into your high-end Mercedes, Audi, Land Rovers, there may be 300 sensors in that vehicle. I mean, lane assist.
Buy a Honda Civic. That's what I'm thinking out of it.
You buy a 1990 Honda Civic.
They'll ride forever.
Yes.
Yeah, and if you are, some of my friends are Toyota lovers, Toyota Camry would do the trick.
Toyota Camrys are nice cars.
Yeah, they'll.
But baby, I mean, you travel a lot.
I do.
You rent a car a lot.
I do.
You probably rent the cheapest car you can because you need it to go from A to B.
No, because I'm a little spoiled, so I like the convertibles and, or I need a...
Well, I did. I am.
I used to be like that. I used to go get the cheaper one. I just need the subcompact that will get me from the airport to the hotel to the training facility.
You have to say this. You're the worst Jew ever.
I am the worst Jew ever. Yeah, I spend money. Fly first class. I
just booked me and Lisa a trip to Texas this week. I actually booked it today. I booked first class.
Gotta go first class.
You got to go first class.
So I just flew to Salt Lake City. And I flew. I'll let you guys know. I fly Delta more often than not.
I'm a big fan of Delta.
And funnily enough, I just got 2 members on my team that are both pilots, they're former Marine pilots, but now they're pilots in civilian, and they fly for U.S. Airways. And they say it's like U.S. Airways is actually pretty nice, so they're actually pretty impressed with it. So I'm gonna have to check it out. But I fly Delta right now because they have first class. I used to fly Southwest all the time because Southwest was good. I mean, you can't complain about it. It's kind of like Toyota Camry. Right?
Yeah.
It leaves on time, it arrives on time, but there's no first class.
No.
So I started flying Delta, and I was flying to Salt Lake, and there was a layover, but the second flight I had those seats that recline completely into a bed. It's like an international flight.
Oh, nice.
I passed out for 4 hours, man. I arrived. So this is the thing about first class. That's why I said in my one podcast about it is I arrived in Salt Lake at 1 a.m. I had to be at the gym at 6 in the morning because I told another person that was coming to the same conference that I'll meet him at the gym. Because really, I needed I need to be accountable, right? Because I'm like, if I don't meet you at the gym or I don't tell you I'll be there, I'll probably just sleep a little longer. Because I arrive at 1 in the morning, right?
Yeah.
So I'm on 5 hours of sleep, but because I had such a good flight, I was good to go. It makes such a big difference.
It really does. And I know
excuse me.
It sounds arrogant of me to say this.
Can I try this?
Oh, please do.
Guys, for those of you watching, apparently local Chattanooga whiskey.
Chattanooga whiskey.
Well, how local is it? I mean, Chattanooga is in Tennessee.
45 minutes. Where I went to the Tennessee Aquarium.
All right, smartass. All right, carry on.
When I was younger, I had a few goals in life, and I have accomplished some of those goals. One of them was to have a tailor-made suit made just for me, and I have like 5.
But that's it makes again. By the way, for those of you that are looking into tailor-made suits and make fun of the idea, sometimes it's actually cheaper and they'll certainly fit you a lot better.
They're made for you.
Right.
And like my suits have my name embroidered.
And it makes you look sexy.
It does.
That's all that matters.
And if you feel good, like in one of your podcasts, flaunt it. If you got it, flaunt it.
Yeah, why not?
Why not?
Right. I was just teaching the rifle class for the actually I had the SWAT guys this morning, and not only that, we're finishing the class and they all bolt out of the range. We're done and lighting sirens. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? So apparently they got a call just as well as the.
Yes, I had a friend that's coming tonight for dinner who mentioned
Yep.
there was a shooting up there. Yes.
Yep. A father and son apparently shot someone mistaken identity.
Mistaken identity.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's a bad day.
Yeah. Well, I'm retired, so.
Yep. Not your problem.
Not my
not
problem.
your circus. Not your monkeys.
Not my circus, not my monkeys.
But yeah.
This is what I do now.
Right.
Well, not all the time.
How
But
did I get into that point? We're talking about suits and then we.
I had a few goals in life. One of them is to own a Rolex. I don't know why. It's purely status. I get that. It's arrogance. I get that. I'm okay with that.
Okay.
I want to own a Rolex.
Did you know, speaking of Navy SEALs, that they all own Rolexes for when they're doing clandestine operations specifically? You know why?
Well, they're fantastic watches.
They are fantastic watches, but if you get caught behind enemy lines, you
could barter.
You can barter for that thing everywhere in the world.
Everybody knows Rolex.
Everybody knows
Rolex.
And you get the full value of it.
I did not know that.
There you go. There's
Okay.
your UDT little tip of the day.
I did not know that. I've never heard that.
Yep.
I like it. So I do need to buy a Rolex now.
Yep.
But some of my goals
And now you can
in
explain
life-
it to your wife. Sorry, I know you're trying to say something, but you can
No.
explain it to your wife as this is a survival thing.
Look, honey,
Right.
if we're in Texas next month,
And I get kidnapped, I have a Rolex.
or if an EMP hits,
You're good to go.
I can get us home
Yeah.
to our kids.
Perfect.
$10,000 for a watch? No problem. So,
Carry on.
I have a few goals in life. One of them was a tailor-made suit, which now I actually have 5 of them. Kind of embarrassed about that.
Don't be. It's good.
I do want to own a Rolex, and another goal was to fly first class everywhere I went. And
Yep.
if I can fly first class, I do.
And I agree with you 100%. Mine is not a Rolex, it's a different brand. But I will say that a lot of people think of it as just vanity. There is actually a practical element to it. There's a reason that people that can afford to do it. It's not just to flaunt it necessarily. It's because it does add value. Flying first class does make your life better.
It absolutely does.
And if
it makes you feel better. And I hate to say this, it's arrogant,
No?
but it makes you feel better
Yeah.
when you're sitting in the first class and they're going, "Would you like another whiskey, Mr. Smith?"
100% I would.
Yes, I would. 8:30 in the morning. Yes, I'll have a Bloody Mary.
I was flying first class to Israel, going to war, and they upgraded me, knowing that I was going to war, so they upgraded me.
Nice.
Now, cross-Atlantic, flight, first class, makes a huge difference. I will say, El Al, the Israeli airline, you guys need to up your bourbon selection. It was just Gentleman Jack, which is not the worst
bad.
thing, but come on. Anyways,
It's not bad.
I mean, Delta would give you Woodford Reserve.
Right, I have Woodford Reserve at my house, so
I like Woodford, right? Anyways, the guy wouldn't even ask me if I wanted a refill. He just kept walking by my seat, and if my cup was empty, he would fill it up. I'm amazed I wasn't smashed by the time I arrived in Israel.
Well, you should have been, I'm sure.
True story. So I arrive in Israel. I think it's a whiskey. I don't know what. I went to my sister's house to drop my stuff, and then I have to go to check in with my base. And as I'm there and I'm going to the restroom, all that whiskey and the airline food and flight and air pressure, whatever, it messes up my GI system. So I'm going to the restroom, number 2. And as I'm there, the siren goes off. Now, when the siren goes off, rockets are coming over. You have 15 seconds to make it shelter. So my sister is frantically knocking on the door saying, the alarm is off, the siren is off, you got to come out. I'm like, listen, I'm pooping. If it's my time to go, it's my time to go. But I'm not going to rush this shit.
Like, I don't want to die sitting in the toilet, but if it's my time, it's my time.
It is. And you know what? Whoever has to clean after me, sucks for them. But
Sucks for them.
anyways, flying first class makes a difference.
It does. It's a state of mind. It's a state of mind.
Yeah,
it is.
and as I said, for me, it's just being well rested. Like I fly Southwest, And no offense to Southwest. I still do fly Southwest because there's some places that just, like if I fly to Las Vegas, let's say, right, flying Delta would stop me in Atlanta because that's their hub. And I have to switch planes and get on second flights, where Southwest will fly direct. Right. So sometimes the directness makes up for it.
It does.
But when I fly first class and I arrive somewhere, I am well rested. It's really about being well rested. The second thing, like I mentioned in that one podcast, it's the people you meet. It's a different type of people that fly first class.
It really is.
Right? And if you're a talker or a schmoozer and you talk to people, you make actual relevant connections.
I don't know if you know this, but I don't like being center of attention.
Yeah, I noticed that. Which is why I think we get along.
My wife is going to look at this and be like, whatever, bullshit.
You know what? We go out and it's, who's going to steal a spotlight?
Pretty much, yeah.
So, you know, I don't like making these podcasts very long, and we're about 30-some minutes in. Okay. So, just, you've seen a lot, you've been through a lot, right? From, you know, growing up here, working with venomous snakes and whatnot in Tennessee, being a SWAT officer, right? Being a business owner, you're a father, a family member, right? Some of our listeners have not experienced all of that. Like, we have some people that are tactical individuals, right? We have some people that are business owners. What is one kind of lesson that this is your first coaching assignment, right? If you could share one nugget with people on any of those realms, what would it be?
Check your ego. Check your ego.
I love it.
Let people who know more than you tell you how to do things. And I can write an estimate. I can negotiate with insurance companies, but check your ego. There's people out there smarter than you. I don't care who you are. I don't care how smart you are. I don't care how strong you are. I don't care how fast you can run. There's somebody smarter. There's somebody stronger, and there's somebody who can outrun you, and there's somebody who can tell you, hey, Keith, try this. Try this.
I love it.
Check your ego.
I love it. Always be, the mentality that I tell people is always be a white belt. You always go into any room ready to learn, right?
Which is pretty much check your ego.
Yeah, 100%. Because for someone that's a black belt in one system to go into another room and say, well, I'm a white belt, that's checking your ego. I know what I know. I know what I don't know, but it doesn't matter. When I go into a conference, when I go into a classroom, and I always say as an instructor, I cherish opportunities to be a student because it gives you an opportunity to check my ego, learn new things. There's always different ways, sometimes better ways. And if it's not better, at least you learn what not to do.
Right. Well, I mean, Thomas Edison, what did he invented the light bulb, and someone asked him about his invention of the light bulb, and he goes, I can tell you 116 ways on how to not to invent the light bulb.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. So, yeah, check your ego. I like it. I love it.
Check your ego.
Well, Keith, first of all, thank you for letting me stay in your wonderful cabin and for the hospitality that you and your family have shown me over the years. You truly became family.
Thank you.
And love you, and I appreciate you agreeing to be on my podcast for a few minutes.
I was a little nervous, but I'm excited. I feel good about it.
Yeah, no, it's good times. And I think people will get I got some insight from how to deal with body shops to just, life lessons. I think it's good. I think people will get a lot of value.
If you ever call me, I'll take care of you.
If people want, actually, good point. I almost forgot because I haven't had a guest in a while. But if people want to get a hold of you, if people have a question, what's the easiest way to get a hold of you?
Phone number 256-638-6437.
There's the actual person that gave his phone numbers. Usually people give the Instagram handle.
I was going to say, I have a Denny's Paint Body Facebook page.
Slow down. What was that?
Denny's Paint and Body.
Denny's Paint and Body.
Facebook page. It's like I make videos all the time with my industry. Even if I don't fix your car, call me. I'll help you. I'll coach you through it. I'll walk you through it. I will. I just want to help people. I want to coach.
Perfect. Love it. Well, thank you so much for coming.
Thank you. Appreciate it. And one more thing. Roll Tide.
I'll see you guys later. Stay savage.
Stay savage.